where about 600 of Chinese flag vessels are located near the Peruvian maritime boundary zone? Before answering this, let's remember that the Sea of Peru is geographically distributed in extension of 200 miles. According to the newspaper Gestión of Peru, exactly in the city of Lima, the reason why Chinese fishing vessels are on the edge of the Peruvian maritime strip, or also called exclusive economic zone, is because they extract about 50,000 metric tons a year of giant squid or humboldt squid, or an informal name that is pota, which translates into a loss in the national industry amounting to 85 million American dollars. The humboldt squid or pota is a transoceanic marine hydrobiological reservoir located in the Eastern Pacific Ocean along the entire Peruvian coast. There's an abundance of pota biomass from 10 miles past the 500-mile stretch of the Peruvian Sea. Its biological reproductive characteristics indicate a high fertility rate characterized by rapid growth, where it is estimated between 1 and 2 years of life, reaching measured longitudinally 50 kilograms. Based on research by the Peruvian Sea Institute, IMARPE, the pota is classified in the category of the underexploited resource, which means that the exploitation of these species still allow the increase of the fishing before directed to the extraction. Don't forget the scientist's name about humboldt squid in Peru is Dosidicus gigas. At the level of fisheries, this is positioned in a second place after the anchovy fishery. We highlighted that the catch of the pota borders on the 440,000 tons a year, rising about $600 million annually. In foreign currency, this indicates Cayetana Aljovín, president of the National Fisheries Society, whose acronyms is SNP. SNP is the exact acronyms, okay, about National Fisheries Society. Let's expand a little more the initial question. What are the other demands that are generating the illegal incursion of Chinese flag boats? First of all, in the ecological aspect, the illegal foreign incursion by the extracting the pota, humboldt squid, damages the trophic chain in which this resource is located. In the geopolitical aspect, Peru demonstrates once again its institutional and international weakness to face strategically as a state, and sanctions the events undertaken by the powerful Chinese fishing fleet. The food safety of the Peruvian population that consumes it, because it is a source of proteins of high biological value and its unsaturated fat content that reduce blood cholesterol levels. And what is obvious, the illegal fishing of this resource become undeclared and unrecorded, which adds to the deterioration of the supposed and healthy Peruvian fishing sustainability. How to understand the background of this illegal incursion of Chinese fishing vessels? The Chinese government, led by Xi Jinping, maintained in practice the exponential techno-industrial resurgence of this country, which is deployed in function of the expansion or scope of its maritime power, executing the geoeconomic and geostrategic demands included in their 5-year plans. To the geopolitical again to unravel something more of this matter. Let us, what is geopolitics? Firstly, this is a social science that studies the influence of power and relative forces and the physical space of a country by configuring a system of special relation with the aim of building an efficient form of political governance of the state. Therefore, Chinese modern maritime geopolitics is founded under the category of being a world power, which means that it has the capacity and will to pursue its interests autonomously and not like Peru, which behave like a state with access to the sea but without the ability to pursue interests born outside their neighborhood. Peruvian specialists and companies recommend that this situation is worrisome as we see, and therefore a national and regional political strategy is needed to deal with it in order to defend the sustainability of our fisheries. The regional defense naval fleets coming from Galapagos in Ecuador, Chile, Colombia, Argentina, and Peru are on the lookout and vigilance of the invaders. On May 2020, the Argentine prefecture detained the Chinese fishing vessel Hongpu 16 belonging to the Chinese company Xuan Hongpu Ocean Fisheries while fishing illegally in the exclusive economic zone of the transcendent country. According to reports from the local Argentine media, the Chinese ship tried to flee, but in the pursuit that was fired into the air it could be captured. However, the Chinese ship that managed to escape was Luron Yuan Yu 668. Global Fishing Watch investigators found that the Luron Yuan Yu 668 had the same identification number as the Lu Yuan 016, another Chinese fishing vessel. It is worth noting that Milko Xiaozma, an environmental and marine conservation specialist, pointed out the following. They are twin boats and obviously that is a way to cover up illegal acts at the sea. The specialist adds that while one of the same or similar characteristics is turned on, it's turned off its system to fish illegally. This same action could be taken in the maritime border zone of Peru. However, although the DICAPI, that is the General Direction of Captains and Coast Guards of the Peruvian Navy, is carrying out surveillance without having captured any foreign vessel to date. It is paradoxical that in a country like China, with which Peru has trade agreements, including the import of giant squid or pora, this event occur. Peruvian artisanal fishermen, according to the squid fishing regulation, do not require authorization to increase the fleet for the extraction of said hydrobiological resource. They only need a fishing permit and comply with current health regulations. In addition, artisanal vessels are required to use a 2-to-1 raw material to ice rations to ensure optimal resource quality. So, the population of Peruvian artisanal fishermen feels unprotected. For example, in 2021, the news agency collected the testimony of a Peruvian fisherman called Jose Lopez, who literally said, there is no maritime authorities to defend us, having indicated that the pertinent authorities were notified of the invasion of the Chinese fleet into the exclusive economic zone. The Peruvian fisherman also added the following to the news portal: "I don't know what the foreigner can do. They have to come to my house and do what they want," alluding to the foreign fleet that illegally invades in the Peruvian Sea. In all honesty, Chinese vessels have not been the only ones that have carried out these incursions, but they are the ones that are maintained for long periods of the times, and with a vast fishing fleet. Let's include here that illegal and invasive vessels to the south in the exclusive economic zones of the South American countries such as Peru, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, and Argentina. Regionally, how can we protect our economic zones for fisheries? There's the Regional Organization for the Fisheries and Management of the South Pacific, whose acronyms are OROPPS, OROP in Spanish, which fulfill the function of intergovernmental groups guaranteeing the conservation and sustainable fishing. In one of the annual meetings of the OROPS held in Ecuador, which took place in 2022, measures were proposed that require all vessels to have observers on board by approximately 2028, and that the discharge of their catch by require only imports and not huge boats stuck in the sea, obviously. Another proposal indicated the reduction of the quantity of the Humboldt squid or pota in the fishery. But all these remained in the pipeline of project. There was no final agreement. Unregulated fishing by national vessels is another scourge. IMARPE, Sea Institute of Peru, reports state that there is a decline in the squid population that was flourishing a decade ago. The artisanal squid fishermen, who are familiar with everything described, say that the purpose of their fishing is not only the daily capture and fishing, but also to allow the hydrological resource to spawn and develop to generate employment. I'm going to agree with Marco Kirchner Bueno, a Peruvian expert in fisheries matters, that the mega port of Chancay that is being built in Peru by investors from China would not only translate into commercial and the tourist development for our country, but not an open door to the geopolitical dominance that China could exercise over this area of the country, with which it could allow those vessels that enter our exclusive economic zone in the Peruvian Sea to act more freely, so to speak. To this, we will add the inability and blindness due to omission and commission of the political authorities to place these issues on the national agenda, as well as its consequence sustainability of hydrological resource, food safety, and the impact in the artisanal fishing economy. In the case of transboundary hydrological resource, the high sea has the monitoring system operational satellite CCSat of the Ministry of Production and transmit to its control center its positioning data from the last 6 months before you report admission, among other conditions. To summarize, the sustainability of fisheries such as that of the squid will continue to be attacked, not only due to the illegality of the unreported and illegal fishing in the country, but also due to the invasive geopolitical of foreign aid vessels, such as those of Chinese flag. Added to this, the catastrophe that are the Peruvian political authorities, generally incompetent to assume and face these serious situations. In the next chapter of Agora Pesquero, we will continue. See you! Síguenos aquí en Agora Pesquero.